Leela is going on here. So when creation happens, we have to step aside. And it is also quite possible we'll hear some background score, but we can enjoy it because anyway in life we generally don't get background score. They're only there in the movies. So with that, we beg forgiveness also of any inconvenience. And we begin with this song because last time हम बात कर चुके थे वृंदावन का थोड़ा थोड़ा क्रिएशन हो रहा था और the places which we now see in Vrindavan were getting marked by Vajranav, Bhaum Vrindavan 1.0. I will do the recap. So this song explains the different places of Vrindavan. We will sing it together. Some of you may not know the tunes, but you will follow along. It is quite fine. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radhe Jayo Krishna Jayo Vrindavan Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Moha Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Kalingi Jamuna Jaya Jayo Mahava. As we are singing this song, you can imagine map of Vrindavan behind me, like a lotus, and Yamuna is like the sari of Vrindavan. They say it circles around Vrindavan. लेकिन अब थोड़ा geography is changed because as time progresses, rivers change their course. So now Yamuna flows from north to south, and Mahavan is here on this side. Yamuna के इधर, यहाँ पे वृंदावन and Govardhan है, इधर Mahavan and other ones are there. ऊपर है बरसाना, इधर है नंदगांव, जहाँ हम बैठे हैं वहाँ पे गोवर्धन वृंदावन, and on this side it is Jai Shri Radhe. This side it's Mahavan. So you can imagine we are going to all these places. Now we cross the Yamuna and come to a place where a horse was killed. Is it that place? Yes. Keshi Ghat Vamshi Bharta Dwadash Kana Jaha Sab Leela Koilo Shri Nanda Nanda Shri Nanda Jasoda Jaya Jayo Gopaga Shri Damadi Jayo Jayo Dhenu Vatsaga Keshivat ki Jai, Vamshivat ki Jai. Dwadash Kanan is, we talked about there are many categories of forest. कुछ बड़े हैं, कुछ छोटे हैं. So these 12 are the main forests. Then of course there is Adhi forest, then there's Upavan, ityadi, ityadi. And then they are saying Nanda Yashoda ki bhi jai, Gopagan ki bhi jai, Sridam Adi means others who are with Sridam. Gop Ganas don't come alone. They come in gangs because they have to steal together. And that's an interesting thing कि all the Gopagarh में कोई बड़ा छोटा नहीं है. If Sakhis are there, Lalita Sakhi is there, then Lalita Sakhi ki seva mein in her service would be Manjaris. But in the Gopas, we don't find this gradation. Why? We are together. So in Sakha Bhava sab ek saath ke hi hain. They are all together. Then now comes the main thing. Jayo Vrishabhano Jaya Kirtida Sundari Jayo Purnamasi Jayo Abhiranagari Jaya Jaya Gopishvara Vrindavan Maja Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakha Bhartu Dvijara. Who is the Krishna Sakha here? Madhumangal. And he's famous as Narma Sakha. Narma means two things. Hindi mein Narma means Naram, but in Sanskrit Narm means joking, or Narm means confidential. So Madhumangal is not like Greek dramas ka Joker. In the Greek dramas, Joker is Vastuta Joker. उसे कुछ नहीं आता. He's like a buffoon with a big nose, टोपी, गिरते पड़ते रहेंगे, कभी पैंट गिर जाएगा, something will happen. Madhumangal is not like that. He's smart. How to use hasya in seva. Humor is an important thing. It's the spice of life, but oftentimes it can get misplaced. And then it can break the bones also. However, Madhumangal is a Narma Sakha, is confidential associate. That's why we are saying Jaya Batu Dvija Raj. Jaya Ram Ghat Jayo Rohini Nanda Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Basi Jata Jan Jayo Dveja Patni Jayo Naga Kanyaga Bhakti Tejahara Pailo Govinda Charan. Only by bhakti we can get Govind Charan, and it does not matter what is your existence situation of the life. You can be Nagakanya, you can be Brahmana Patni, you can be a demon, but if you have bhakti, you will get Govind Charan. And bhakti is not dependent on any material cause. What? It's not dependent on any material cause. Oh, it's such a respite, right? Which means I am in any situation of life, I can get liberated. The correct attitude must be there, but no material impediment is there. In fact, it is said in Bible and other places also, better to be a repentant sinner than a proud scholar. Why do you think it is said like this? Because if one is a repentant sinner, just by the repentance and chanting of the names, the sin is gone. So, bhakti is independent, which means we can share with anybody and we can accept it, embrace it at any situation. Shiras Mandala Jayo Jayo Radha Shyam Jaya Jaya Rasa Leela Sarva Manora. Now, after describing the Ras Leela, they are honoring, and this is important because we'll be starting with that today, almost. They are honoring Manjaris because the Ras is Ujjwal Ras, Madhuri Ras, Sakhis, right? And they were the Manjaris who came as the Goswamis. Radharani, in one sense, came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's where we stopped yesterday, and that's where we are beginning with the glorification. Ujjwal Ras. Ujjwal Ras means the Ras in Madhurya Bhav. There is Sakha Bhav, Vatsalya Bhav, Dasya Bhav. There is Madhurya Bhav. And it's not the Bhav like the honey of this world. It is a semblance, but it's very different. Because there the mood is Tat Sukhe Sukhitvam. वो सुखी है तो मैं सुखी हूँ. Unke sukh mein mera sukh hai. Their happiness, my happiness is there. Very hard to come to that level. Perhaps the closest, as we talked about yesterday, is the mother's love for the child. So we are glorifying this. Jayo Jayo Jwala Rasa Sarvarasa Sa. I don't need. Ah, पर की अभावे जहाँ प्रशा श्री जानवाद पद्मा कोरिया स्मरा दीन कृष्ण दासे कोहे नाम संकीर्ता ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. We began saying that Vrindavan is called Vrindavan because Vrinda is the name of Srimati Radharani. 16 names of Radharani. One is Radha. One is Vrinda. This comes in Brahma Vaivarta Puran. We call it Vrindavan because it is loved by who? Krishna and Balaram. And we call it Vrindavan because Vrinda is, of course, the name of the shrub, the tulasi, which grows everywhere in Vrindavan. Very rarely do we find places where the temple deities are decorated with. I mean, South India you go to, you get 50 tola sona. But in North you go, hey, jhar jhar tulsi. Banke Bihari ki tulsi ki mala is quite thick. And that's the Vrindavan. But then we spoke that Vrindavan is also not only a place because it's a place of Radharani or Vrinda Devi or Krishna Balram, but it's a forest of love. Which love? First category of love, one-sided love. Where receiver wait kar raha hai, transmitter is never responding. Isn't it? Why? Because the other person is Aptaram, fully satisfied, or Aptakam, all bank balance is there. Why should he respond? What's the lesson? Quickly figure it out, move away from such relation. So, second is two-sided but business transaction. Scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, like that. And this becomes even problematic because love and hate. When anarthas are there in our heart, we want the love, but we hate also. Dena padta hai usse. Isn't it? This is a tricky situation, and only a guide can take you out because people who are stuck with love and hate, it's like a AC current. DC current एक बार लगता है. ACs, isn't it? It's a pendulum. Third is love is the best, selfless love. And we talked about there the child surrenders to the mother. Because in love, it is supra logic, logic beyond logic. You can test the things, but afterwards you fall in love. So this selfless love is important, but it is limited because it's about material things. On the other hand, love of God, love of Krishna, love of Sri Radha, love of Vrindavan takes the person out from the material situation and places him at the lotus feet. Go bhakti paite jaha Govinda charan. That's why Vrindavan is called forest of love, because this love is the fourth category. Now, if we can already understand from this, if Vrindavan is forest of love, it must also be a situation of heart. Correct? If everything is about love there, I can also develop it here, isn't it? It should not be limited to only place, correct? Right now, we understand Vrindavan as Delhi, 2.5 hour drive, if you are fortunate. And then go down southeast and come to Vrindavan. But just by buying tickets, who has ever been to Vrindavan? There was one great scholar, and I think I would have repeated this story umpteen times. Maybe you have heard it already from me before, but it is so significant that it reminds me that just by buying a ticket, you won't get a ticket to Vrindavan. This scholar was in Germany and he thought, Itna Vrindavan ke baare mein I have heard, so let me go to Vrindavan. So he bought a ticket and came to Vrindavan and got the car. That time it was Ambassador. Anybody of us have traveled in Ambassador? It's an interesting experience. Reminds me of those tempos. So we used to have tempos in our school. भैया कब चलोगे? रुको. First धागा बांधते थे रस्सी. फिर वो खींचते थे. If they are lucky, it will start. And if you are second time lucky, you won't have your face turned black. So here he comes an ambassador, and just like Amitabh Bachchan, the car doors swing open and he puts his lotus feet, not lotus feet, maybe cactus feet, whatever, out. But he made a mistake. He stepped on a freshly baked, hot, smoky gobar. I don't know if we see gobar all around in Vrindavan, but hot, smoky gobar is some interesting thing. It's just freshly made by mother cow. And it smokes. There's some smoke also. Of course, there's divine fragrance. Some people are so much of cow lovers. Somebody just took me to Goshan. Prabhuji, gomutra chahiye? Yeah, we'll think about it. And then he said, see. Then he directly cupped his hands and Gaya released and he drank. Neat, as they say, right? So this person stepped and he made a second mistake. He was wearing socks. And thus, pastime with the socks is on another level, right? He got short circuited. He just turned back, everything rewound. His feet came inside, car door closed. He turned around, went back to Germany. Just by one experience. Thakurji was saying, Baba, bus by scholarship, you cannot enter into Vrindavan. So Vrindavan, therefore, must be a place of consciousness. And that's why our dear Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Anyera hridayaman, Anyera hridayaman, Moraman Vrindavan. Mane vane ek kari jani. It's not there. Mane vane ek kari jani. Anyera hridaya man. Somebody else's mind is mine. All pura karkat is there. Just imagine if there was a mind meter. Tabhi we are looking, okay, we dress nicely and we groom ourselves nicely and everything is nice. But imagine if there is a mind meter. We might look like a tiger if you are angry. Actually, it is said, the mind morphs into that shape. This is a subtle Vedic depth psychology. Mind does not multitask. Mind just absorbs one thing at a time, but it does it so fast. We are in the illusion thinking that we are doing multitasking. So the time when we are angry, tiger. The time we are envy, snake. That's their constitutional position. Imagine whole zoo is going on in the head. So it's so nice we don't have mind meter. Or sometimes if somebody did our mind scan, it may look quite mangled, right? Because so many thoughts, so many hurts, so many grudges. That's what happens if you take a plastic and punch it, right? उसमें खड्डा type हो जाता है. It just bends from that. We might have received it so many times. And mind does not die, right? It travels with us from the lifetimes to lifetimes, correct? Body dies, mind and intelligence travels with the first yatana day is given, and we are fried a little bit, pakoda, as the Bhagavatam describes, so that we get purified. Then the yatana day is taken, mind and intelligence gets a new body. But the punches remain, right? Some of us have some weird tastes, right? Or aversions. One of my friend has an aversion to dahi. His wife told me, challenge Prabhu, dahi khila ke dekha do hime. And we are using all PhD techniques. Prabhu, the chemical is the same. It's white. That is white. It's just the viscous. It's more viscous. That's less viscous. कान पर जूं तक नहीं रेंगेगी. Nothing is happening to him. Why? Because in childhood, his uncle forced him to eat dahi and he vomited. That scar is still there. So he will eat paneer, cheese, pizza, everything about milk except he can be curry, he can eat. But sir, curry ke andar dahi. But no, imagine our minds. So Mahaprabhu is saying, Anyara man, normal. More man, Vrindavan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, my mind is Vrindavan. Mone ek kari jani. Mind and one and man. Vrindavan and mind is same for me. And therefore, was it surprising that he discovered Shamakund and Radhakund? Where did we begin last time? Aprakat Vrindavan behind the curtain. Or as we said, this entire room, the corner is the material world, and da 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 da. We come to first Viraja river, then Sadashiv Dham, then Vaikuntha, Ayodhya, Vaikuntha, Jagannath Puri, Dwarka, Mathura, Golok Vrindavan. Within the Golok Vrindavan, one room is where everybody is dancing. That is Shvetadvip or Nitya Navdeep. And one room is there where Krishna is little bit steady, it's Mathura city. When they come down, they come to, lo and behold, just we can feel the goosebumps. It's very near. 3228 BC, when the Parda was open and they all came dancing outside. Literally, Krishna came out the womb dancing only. No baby comes out like that. But it was all covered up. It is said, Sukham Shishu Ajayata. There was not much labor pain. Bhagavatam describes this, or Harivamsa Puran and other, they describe it. But there was some labor pain or an illusion of the labor pain, because unless there's a labor pain, the mother doesn't feel so attached. That's some psychology. I do not know. I'm just quoting it. So she is very attached and it's very normal, but he almost came dancing. And when they came dancing, just imagine our fortune. Right now, we can go to Mumbai Central and take August Kranti and go to that place. That's the same place. But Krishna lived for 125 years, फिर चले गए, फिर कुछ छोड़ गए. That is Drishyaman Vrindavan. We talked about it, which we can see like Govardhan, Yamuna, Brajraj. We forgot yesterday Krishna's footprints. Some places we see that, Charana Pahadi. Some place Balramji is looking at Ras Leela and his mukut falls down and creates a dent. Doka Dauji. Isn't it? How many of us have been to Tatiyasthan? Yeah, Johnson baby powder sand, right? You know Johnson baby powder. Right now, the the many most customers of Johnson baby powders are the percussionists because they use the Johnson baby powder to massage the tabla and the mridang. Now I don't know kids use it, but it's very soft. It has many particles: black particle indicating Krishna, white particle indicating Radharani, gray particle indicating Jamuna, silver particle indicating silver. It's actual silver. So any jewelers here, you can try. However, harder you try, you will only waste your money. You cannot take it out. But we can console ourselves thinking that Chintamani Prakarasad Kalpa Vriksha. It is Chintamani, it's actual real silver. And in 30th Sthan we go, we see this trees, and saints say that they are from that era. And some of them also say the Mars. In fact, some places, the original trees, they took the shoot and grafted it again. Well, if some of you are coming in off season and we are there, maybe I can take you to some Khufiya Sthan. There is a bagh nearby called Dallan Bagh. These are the places where you really feel ये 5000 साल पहले का वृंदावन था. You sit down, the monkeys and cows are sitting with you. So wonderful, right? And the ground is pristine sand, and very renounced saints are nearby, and you literally feel this is that, and the chirping of the birds like that, and this is the same sand where Krishna walked. This is the same sand where Yamuna flows by. So this is Drishyaman Vrindavan, and then comes Vajranath, and he creates the space between, right? That's how we do construction. 4 buildings are out, 3, 4 are remaining. Like if suppose somebody has to do a renovation, I'm not giving any new idea, but already many ideas are there. But suppose you have to construct, then this is the holy place, and then we attach everything to it. So then this whole place also becomes holy. That's how Bhaum Vrindavan 1.0 was constructed. Then crazy things happened. Mathura city rose, but Vrindavan came down. It got covered, and Mathura also was attacked. So now we reach 15th century, where in 1486, who was born? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he took sannyas, and 1515 AD, he came to Vrindavan. He discovered Shamakund, Radhakund. In just some pukur, and people thought, Bora gayo hai. Braj mein we say like that, Bora gayo hai. Pagla gayo hai, like that. Uddhav ji once asked Krishna, how do I find out where does Vrindavan begin? So Krishna said, Bolante hera, vachanante gari. Karil kunj, koop jalkhari. Bolante hela means Brajbasis never talk straight. पूरे धरती का राजा अविनाशी और बाको राजा ब्रजवासी. The entire earth is ruled by Avinashi, and he is ruled by Brajvasi. So there is some undue at, and Bolante Hela, they will not speak directly. Ramu ki maa, something like that. Then Bachanante Gari, baat baat mein Gari, e dhari ke. This is that favorite. Then after that, Karil Kunj. So everywhere in Vrindavan, we see like those arch-shaped things. Those are of Karil leaves, not Kadam and Karil. And Koop Jal Khari. The koop, the water of the well will be khara. Kyon? Many people cried there. And I think the happiness asu is sweet, if you have tried. But the tears of sadness, they are salty. Oh, Vichitra is the creation of our Thakurji. So that we can really figure it out. That person is acting in a class or really crying? So here, Koopajal Khari. Now, he is bathing and people are not able to figure out, but then they find out from his symptoms he's really an exalted personality. This must be Shamkund Radhakund, but it's still a pukur. Mahaprabhu goes and then he deputes his 6 soldiers from all the interesting places. Mahaprabhu chooses people. He chose the Prime Minister and Chief Minister of Hussain Shah in Bengal. Because he later knew why, what he later knew. That how many of us have been to Agra, Fatehpur Sikri, and Vrindavan? Now see, Agra, that was Fatehpur Sikri was built there, and Vrindavan, that road, then it leads to Gujarat, because that's where Vallabhacharya's son Gosaiji came in separation from Srinathji, and then Gujarat flooded with Pushtiman. So that was the high road. But earlier, that road was crisscrossed by troops, right? So Mahaprabhu would have been thinking, hey, all the Mughals will be going there, so I need somebody who is steeped in bhakti but knows their language also. So Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami were chief minister, finance ministers. Then Raghunath Das Goswami was Mujumdar family. You can say Baniya number 1. Correct? Us samay ke. He knew how to deal with the people. Then Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who is from South India, who knew all the mantras and tantras and the pujas and everything, because somebody was required to encapsulate together. 4. Then who is the 5th one? Raghunath Bhatta Goswami from the land of Varanasi. And finally, Jiva Goswami, their nephew, who later turned out to be the best devotee, the best manager, the best author, and the best everything. Because he and Raghunath Das Goswami, when they came, they started thinking we have to do something about Radha Kund. 1545, this is something which we write in this book also. We have tried as much. Whatever history you need about Vrindavan is there. And the references are also given. So Raghunath Das Goswami purchased in 1545 lands at Radhakund. So what we are seeing today was done 1545. And then it said Jeev Goswami was very intelligent, so he would come and they build that tanks. Temples were built, Madan Mohan, Gopinath, Govind Dev, and 1590 what happened? The rising of the Govind Dev temple, the crown jewel of Vrindavan. 1576, 14 years ago, Raja Man Singh had come and he said, Govind Dev, if I win the battle against Maharana Pratap, I'm gonna build you a big temple. I was thinking, ये अकबर कितना चालू है? This Akbar pitted 2 Rajputs against each other. But then, as we write in this book, actually main Chalubaj is who? Gopinath Govind Dev. He is giving ideas under Akbar. And he's putting 2 Rajputs together. But whose temple is rising? Govind Dev. Actually, real Chalubaj is Radharani. Because he is directing Govind Dev. So ultimately, we may think, oh, Man Singh did. No, Akbar did. It's all Thakurji is doing. So Govind Dev comes up. This 16th century Vrindavan towards the end, we can happily call Bhaum Vrindavan 2.0. Bhaum Vrindavan 1.0 was Vajranath. But then Vrindavan just disappeared. Then Mahaprabhu came and established Bhaum 2.0. There is one mistake in that statement, which is it was not only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whole Vrindavan construction, whole thing development is a joint process of many sampradayas. First, let's begin with 4 sampradayas, main sampradayas in which Vishnu Bhakti is paramount. There are other sampradayas. The Shaiva lineage is also. If you go to Tamil Nadu, anybody from Tamil Nadu here? No? सब हम यूपी वाले भैया लोग हैं. So in Tamil Nadu, there is a Nayanar saints of Shaivism. They also have sampradaya. Shankaracharya sampradaya is also there. But four main sampradayas in which there is so much emphasis on Vishnu Bhakti, they are the ones who sort of contributed a lot. Now the question comes. Are you all with me? So far so good? The question comes. Why sampradaya? ChatGPT is my guru. ChatGPT, initiate me. She or he, I don't know, can very well provide us all the esoteric mantras. Sometimes it hallucinates. Do you know about hallucination of ChatGPT? You ask any question. Is Vikhil a great person? She said, yeah, sort of. And they say, what do you say? I know he's a great person. You are absolutely right. So it really does the hallucination. And that's why people have to be careful. Not like they go there and say, Abhi, everybody is talking about Raganuga Bhakti. Let's write. What is Raganuga Bhakti? ChatGPT? Confused answer. That's why we need living guru. AI cannot be. See, to feel the association devotees, we need such presence. Of course, some people are watching online, that's also fine. But we need to be around them in a full 3D, 4D, 5D, in which we can touch them, in which we can speak to them. Isn't it? नहीं तो सब अपने अपने बॉक्स के पीछे बैठे हैं, डब्बे के पीछे डब्बू हो गए. So AI won't take up the jobs. AI may come, hoga, it will go away. More than AI is EI, emotional intelligence. And more than EI is SI, spiritual intelligence. And it cannot be given by ChatGPT. We need Sampradaya because mantras become Bifal if they don't come under Sampradaya. So let's repeat after me. This is not there in your notes. Sampradaya vihinaye sampradaya mantraste nishphala matah atah kalau bhavishyanti chatvarah sampradayinah. This comes in Padma Puran, which our very own Baladev Vidyabhushan, who was coronated in Jaipur as the Samrat of knowledge. And he writes this in his verse Prameya Ratnavali, saying that mantras, if they are passed down without sampradaya, like the chat GPT or, like sometimes PhDs are also sold. Yeah, can be. We can forge, isn't it? Sometimes one has to forge when you are escaping Hitler. Jews did a lot of forging. The passports were forged. They would have 4 or 5 passports: Hungarian passport, Russian passports, Austrian passport, because you never know where you have to escape. We have not seen that situation. My grandmother, when they were coming from Sindh, Pakistan, 47, maybe 46. My mother's side, they came in 1930 because somehow divine intervention. And the father's side, when they were coming, they were given broken piece of glasses, the ladies. If somebody tried to violate you, eat that. Somehow she didn't eat, otherwise I won't be there. Yeah. But this is little bit what Jews go through. So mantra, bifala, mata, it cannot be forged. It has to be in the sampradaya. And therefore in Kali, there are 4 main sampradaya. Main, that's a word to underline here. Because Thakurji is not dependent on sampradaya. Tomorrow Thakurji can come and tell Vikhil, initiating you, start your own sampradaya. But please check with the counselor also if he does. Thakurji is not dependent on anything. He can come and bypass or he can start something. There is something called Shukha Sampradaya in Jaipur. That comes from Shukadeva Goswami. These four Sampradayas are coming from first Sri Sampradaya, and the main Acharya there is Ramanujacharya. And then later Ramanujacharya ke baad aaye Ramanandacharya. Ramanujacharya was incarnation of, guess is Ramanuj, who is Lakshman, and Ramananda Ram. He said, ab mujhe hi aana hai. And Ramananda Acharya actually lived for 250 or so years. And Bhaktamal Granth explains, Shishya Prashishya, infinite people became his disciples. You hear about Kabir, Raidas, even Mirabai, they say they were his disciples. Okay, so Sri Ramanuj Ramanand. Is it present in Vrindavan today? Of course. You go to the other side of Vrindavan, the Purana Vrindavan. We call that Patharpura, because the Pathar of Govind Dev landed there. So it became Patharpura. Just like there used to be a garden called Govind Bagh. Now it became Govind Bazaar. First they would have flowers bagh. Now they have samosa and rabdi. Look at the time. In fact, there's a world famous rabdi shop there called Chhelo Labdi. Just telling you in case you happen to go there. Things change. But that place is pronounced for one thing. Lot of Ramanandis stay there. And you will notice them with a very prominent tilak. White, I mean, different varieties. Even in Gaudiyas, there are many tilak. Some have, forget Gaudiyas, even in ISKCON. Some will have till here, some will have till here, some breath is still here. So different tilakas. So their tilaka is white mark here and a blob in the middle, Ramanandis. Places like Sudama Kuti in Vrindavan, places like Maluk Peet in Vrindavan, places like Tulsi Ke Ram. You know about this place? Tulsidas came to Vrindavan and Krishna appeared to him. He said, I will not bow down to you unless you convert into Ram. So Krishna had to leave the Basuri and pick up. Then it's okay, Dandvat Pranam. So this is a place. So these are Ramanuji or Ramanandi places. What's the second Sampradaya? We are talking about Vishnu Swami Sampradaya. Comes from Rudra. It's also called Rudra Sampradaya. Are you all with me so far? Shivji, Rudra Sampradaya. But the prominent Acharya is Vishnu Swami. So it's called Vishnu Swami Sampradaya. But then later on, the baton passed to one of the great personality called Sri Vallabhacharya. And it's considered Vadanavatar, Vaishnavanar Avatar, Vallabhacharya celebrated the Pushti mark. It's there in Vrindavan? Yes. But their main gad, as they say, is Jatipur, Mathura, Gokul. Of course, now in Vrindavan also we can see an ashram is there. But main gad. वहाँ जाओगे तो even if you are any language, you'll start speaking. Kem chho maja ma? So this is Pushti gad. And Vallabhacharya did that. And especially after in his son, who was his son? Gosai ji, Vittalanath ji. He just celebrated it so much. They had 8 disciples, like Mahaprabhu had 6 disciples, they had 8 disciples between them. Ashtasakha. They composed all the songs, like Goswamis composed in Sanskrit, they composed in Braj Bhasha. ब्रज भाषा को अगर किसी ने दान दिया है कुछ तो वो है पुष्टि मार्ग. वहां पे पद्य ही नहीं है, गद्य भी है. आप अगर पढ़ोगे शिक्षा पत्री, बंगाली में बोल दिया शिक्षा पत्री, इट्स प्रोज इन ब्रज भाषा. 84 वैष्णवों की वार्ता, 252 वैष्णवों की वार्ता, दैट्स इन ब्रज भाषा. एंड फैंटास्टिक रिलेशनशिप विद गौड़ियास, क्योंकि their deity and our deity, we are linked by a common deity called Srinath ji. Madhavendra Puri also worship, they also worship, and once he had to come down for a pretext. Long story, that will be a part of our next book. But when Thakurji had come down and he had to stay in Gosaiji's place for a month, this is documented in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Bhugar Goswami, Loknath Goswami, all of them stayed for 1 month at Gosaiji's place. Kya aanand hoga? Gaudiyas and Pushti staying together. There Surdas ji would be singing Hari Darshan ki pyasi, and there Rupa Goswami would be singing Vilasati dolo parivan mali. Sanskrit Brajbhasha, badi अच्छी तुकबंदी हो रही होगी. So these were the times. Imagine reliving those times. This is the second sampradaya. Third sampradaya, Madhva Sampradaya, coming from Brahma, Madhva, and then a special branch of it, Gaudiya Sampradaya, which we know very well. Goswamis came, they did a lot. Rupa Goswami was really respected like anything. Sanatan Goswami ko to kehte hi the Bade Gosai ji. Okay, he was like father. And the fourth Sampradaya is Kumar Sampradaya. It comes from this Chatush Kumaras. Fir it became specialized as, which is the, who is the Acharya who came? Nimbark Acharya. So Nimbark Sampradaya it became. And then it just also had many of his branches. One of the branches, their temple is the most popular temple in Vrindavan, and some of our family has been fortunate to stay stone throw distance away from it. Baake Bihari Lal ki Jai. Swami Haridas technically comes under Nimbark Sampradaya. The Tilaka of Ramanandis we talked about. General, there are variations. Tilaka of Pushti is a U, Kumkum se, red. The Tilaka of Gaudiyas we know. Even if we wake up at 2 a.m. in the night, aankhein band hain, tab bhi laga denge, right? And Tilaka is important. Somehow if you have to go to work and this can create situation, at least put a tilak with water, they say. And the Tilaka of Nimbarki is just straight you going here and then turning like this. Swami Haridas, the deities Banke Bihari, appeared in Nidhuvan. Another line of it is Hari Vyasis. So Ramanuji became Ramanandis, right? Madhvas, Gaudiyas, right? It's a different branch. Like that, Nimbark, one branch is Hari Dasis, started by Swami Haridas. Another is Hari Vyasi, Hari Vyas Devacharya. Now, many people don't know about him, but all of us know one song about him, which he wrote, which we like to sing at every happy occasion in ISKCON. You know that song? Radhe. No, not this one. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Radhe. Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Krishna, Krishna. We think it's a ISKCON song. It's Nimbark, Hari Vyas Devacharya wrote. Because in the end, the song comes Hari Priya. Who is Hari Priya? That's the spiritual identity of Hari Vyas Devacharya. And now there are places, not many people go there, but if you like to chant peacefully, we can tell. See, everybody goes to Loi Bazaar to do Ashtayam Seva there, right? At least 8 baar to jana hi hai Loi. Some devotees called me, Prabhuji, very tight schedule. But 1 to 5 will be in Loi Bazaar for sure. And then when they come, piggybacked on them is if somebody comes to US, matlab mar gaya ho. Because if he is coming US nearby, Prabhuji, anyway you are going. We'll go in the next season. Dress iske order. It's good, service expands. But Loi Bazaar, everybody goes. Now, if you go to Loi Bazaar, if you take a left turn, you will come to the road of Radha Raman temple. But don't take the left, take right. Keep going. you'll come to a temple called Shriji Ki Badi Kunj. This is the headquarters of Nimbarkacharya in Vrindavan. You'll see a Nimbark deity. The deity is called Anand Manohar. Anand Manohar is the Radha Anand Manohar. Very exquisitely beautiful. Nobody goes there. You can go and chant, but huge temple. See, that's what happens. I went to Govind Dev temple and asked the pujari, "Hey, काऊ भीड़ तो आती नहीं है यहाँ पे." तो बोला, समय समय की बात है, कभी हम राजा होते थे, अभी बांके बिहारी ने सारी भीड़ ले ली है. That's true. I mean, we won't be surprised that tomorrow, like, abhi where the bheed is going, we are going to hit Radha Keli Kunj. Some times change. Of course, it's the same Thakur. Govind Dev is different from Banke Bihari? No. Is different from Radha Shyam Sundar? No. Is different from the Prem Mandir? One auto wala was taking me. He said, Prabhuji, this temple should, इसका नाम लव टेम्पल कर देना चाहिए. सारे यंग ही आते हैं. हाँ, बात तो सही है. एवरी ऑल कपल्स आर गोइंग. बोला, वेट, प्रेम मंदिर को इंग्लिश में क्या कहते हैं? लव टेम्पल ही तो कहते हैं. Prem Mandir is also very crowded. Now there's 3 destinations. What? Banke Bihari. After Banke Bihari is done, थक के आ गए. प्रभु जी, ISKCON और प्रेम मंदिर जाना है. But after Banke Bihari is done, then they'll go to ISKCON. But now there is an added list also, and these temples are also becoming crowded. Can you guess? Radha Vallabh and Radha Raman. And Radha Raman is getting so crowded, be ready to get squished. Because of course, place is small and such a special deity, such small deity, but so much jalwa. The Agni in the temple is not stopped. For the last 500 years, they use the same Agni. Usi se the park happens, and so much aparas saparas means so much of purity consideration. Srila Prabhupada told us we have to learn standards from them. So 4 sampradayas and their offshoots, correct? That's it? No, we do not know. There is Radha Vallabhis also. We said, right? 4 main sampradayas, which means they have a history of tried and you can say good track record of philosophical truth being passed, rasa, culture being passed, and a good standing of the saints. That's why we call them 4 main sampradayas. But just think about, when can a sampradaya be bona fide? When it is stemming from apex, right? So if one can trace it perfectly to Sri Radha or Sri Krishna, bona fide, no. As that's when there could be many sampradaya, like the Shukha sampradaya, it starts from Shukadev Goswami. Radha Vallabhi is claimed to be starting from Sri Radha. So who can speak about a sampradaya? Them, correct? If somebody asks us, who is Rupa Goswami? We say Rupa Manjari. Now that's in our scripture, right? That's not in Vedas. But then they gave us benefit of doubt. When we ask Pushti Margis, who is Surdas? He said, Uddhav. We have to give benefit of doubt. It's not in any Vedic scripture, but it is revealed in that tradition. Why am I explaining all of this? Because this understanding is important to appreciate Vrindavan. It was not created by one sampradaya. It can be Gaudiya Gad. उसमें कोई दो राय नहीं. अभी भी. It's so interesting. All the workers, many of the workers in every home are Bangla. And it's so irritating sometimes because, not because of them. Some of our family members, they skew their Hindi weirdly while speaking with them. So our mother will say, oh, Lala काम कर रही है, अभी साफ करो. मैं, Mom, why did you change the gender? अब she's trying to explain her. So I said, hey, you are messing up whole things. Amma ke Bangla thoda bol dunga. So it's a cultural thing. Lot of Bengalis come to Vrindavan. Lot of Gaudiyas were there. So it is a Gaudiya Gad. but then it also was contributed by others. One of the biggest contribution was done by Radha Vallabhis. Let me explain why. Vrindavan was forest, and Chaitanya Charitamrit explains that Mahaprabhu, when he came, he never stayed within Vrindavan. He used to stay in Akrur Ghat, I mean, little outskirts. क्योंकि वहां तो सब जंगली जानवर है. All the forest is there. So, bhiksha, where you'll get bhiksha? Vegetarian bhiksha, right? Out. And when Goswamis came, Rupa Goswami and even Swami Haridas also came early. He came before, some say before Mahaprabhu. They would do madhukari, sleep under different tree. Bhrata tishtha tale tale vitapinam grameshu bhikshamata. हर ग्राम में जाके भिक्षा मांगो and sleep under a different tree. स्वच्छंदम जमुना jalam piba. अब कहाँ से अभी now it's a dream only to drink Jamuna water. To look at Ramakrishna Mission Seva Ashram, because drinking water, no, where will go. Even Radha Raman have stopped their tradition of bathing Radha Raman with Jamuna water. Rangji temple also. Sad situation. So this was the olden times, but some miracle happened in around maybe 1520, like that. I'm not sure of the date. A person named Hit Harivansh Mahaprabhu came to Vrindavan. Now he was married, he took sannyas, and he came, he was traveling. And then he came, somehow he found the deity. He went to a place called, where a Brahman stayed, called anything I should be mindful about? Okay. Atmadev Brahman. Atmadev Brahman had a deity which Shivji had given to him. Atmadev Brahman had prayed to Shivji, and Shivji, he asked Shivji, give your best thing, and Shivji says, it's not Parvati, it is Radha Vallabha deity. And the Atmadev Brahman had two daughters. And see the weird way Krishna acts, he comes in the dream of this Mahaprabhu, tells marry both the daughters. And Dahej mein mere ko le lo. And the dowry get the deity. Comes to Atmadev Brahman and tells him, give both the daughters and give me in dowry. So they go to Vrindavan, and lo and behold, the dacoit of Vrindavan called Naravahan becomes Shishya, Radha Vallabhi. And what happens if Gundai Bhakt ban jaye? If the dacoit becomes, fear is gone. So then what happened? Householders started to come to Vrindavan. Things were cleared because the dacoit. And slowly, not only Babajis were staying, not only Goswami renunciates were saying, householders also started to come. And then comes Todarmal and Akbar, and first tax, wo bolte hain na, land cut rahi hai abhi. The plots were cut. The first plot was called Dusayach, where we stay. It's a Banke Bihari, Madan Mohan, that area. That was the first plot. Plot was cut and Madan Mohan was built on it, etc., etc. So we can see how everybody went hand in hand. And isn't it the world today needs that? That while we situate ourselves in the boat we are riding, whether Pushti or Gaudiya or whatever, but then we cannot live in silos, right? And we can learn also from them what is the commonality and how they are special and we are special too. Correct? And lastly, first, we are not in silos. So better we know about things, much better than knowing about the politics, perhaps. Second, we can learn how everybody is special, isn't it? Maybe we can inculcate few things of inspiration. That's what Prabhupada also said, learn from Radharamans. And last, better to build bridges, right? Already people are breaking bridges. Why not build bridges? And then when we build bridge, we'll be really bridgebasi. Oh, that's Maharaj said, right? Build a bridge, we'll be bridgebasi. So all the sampradayas came. Now I want to tell you, it's not only Vaishnav sampradaya. Shripad Shankaracharya. He may have preached the philosophy of Sarva Khalvedam Brahmani. He's a special personality. He understood the heart of Krishna. So even he would say, Kada vrindaranye, nahi hai aapke usme, tarani tanaya punya puline. When in the forest, Tarani, who's Tarani Tanaya? Jamuna, it's Punya Pulin. Pulin is bank. Smaran Shri Gopalam Nimishamiva Neshyami Divasan. अपना दिन काटूंगा श्री गोपाल का. And well, I know some saints in Vrindavan who were initiated in Shankar Sampradaya, but they fell in love with Shri Gopal. Because anybody who comes in Vrindavan, if he puts this tilak or this, if it is Tera tilak like that, they will ultimately become whose? Sri Gopal, even better than that, Sri Radharani's. So like that Shankaracharya also says, in fact, he has written a stotra called Vishnu Shatpati. In that, he says something marvelous. Satyapi bhedapagame nath. He's telling, because Shankaracharya Maharaj is focusing on abhed. Like we say, achintya bheda bhed. Shankaracharya ji is saying abhed, but then he says, Tavaham namamaki nastam, lekin main aapka hi hu. This is Shankaracharya's word. Then he says, Samudrohi tarangah. Tarang samudra ki hai. Tarang, the wave, belongs to the ocean. Kvachana samudra, samudro na taranga. But you cannot say the ocean belongs to wave. Isn't this profound? And no wonder he said, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Sanprapte Sannahite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukran Karane. Abhi Dukran kya hai? In Sanskrit, the roots are like this, Dukran. And Karane means, when you remember Sanskrit dhatu, it is like this. Bhu, Sattayam, Dukran, Karane. Means Bhu dhatu is used in sense of Satta. Dukran dhatu is used in sense of Karne mein. So somebody must be remembering in front of Shankaracharya, Bhu, Sattayam, Dukran Karne, Dukran Karne, Dukran Karne. और in Hindi language वो डोक रहे थे, old थे. So Shankaracharya came and said, Baba, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. Nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. So everybody becomes, Thakurji's. Still we can say, as we are sitting in ISKCON temple, under the shade of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and everybody recognizes it. Even those who are in Shankar Sampradaya, they just salute Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everybody. In fact, सब Chaitanya Mahaprabhu बोलते हैं ये हमारे हैं. Because anyway, he's Radha Krishna together. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was smart. And let's come to the song one today. This song one explains, this comes in a book called, we started 7:45, little late. So I will go till 9. Is that okay? Then question answers till 9:15. That a deal? So this song comes in a book by Bhakti Vinod Thakur called, it's a verse comes in a book called Navadvip Dham Mahatmya. The glories of the Dham of Navadvip. In that it is shown how all acharyas appeared to Mahaprabhu. Because remember, all these acharyas, they are from South India. So that is another thing. There is a strong connection between South India and Vrindavan. Nimbarkacharya, Telang Brahman. Vallabhacharya, Telang Brahman. Ramanujacharya, Thet Tamil area se the. Who else? Vishnu Swami also from the south. So there is a big, like a tunnel. They are coming up and establishing the bhakti. So these are the acharyas from the south coming up. And they all in their tools, because that time planes were not there, they would travel by foot. They all came to Navadvip and Mahaprabhu came in their meditation. Because Mahaprabhu came in 1515. Shankaracharya much before. Nimbarkacharya 1300. So here Nimbarkacharya is meditating and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to him. Interesting, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, go on preaching the concept of Bheda Bhed, because Nimbarkacharya preached Bheda Bhed. And later, but keep my identity secret. Later I'll come and, I'll inaugurate my Sankirtan pastimes. And to him, he is telling, Mahaprabhu is saying, I will take the best part of all the sampradayas. Two points from all the sampradayas. Interesting, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the uniter, we can say. Everybody, you go to Shankaracharya Mutt in Govardhan, Jagannath Puri, they say, "Nee, these belong to us." And if you go to ISKCON, वो तो बोलेंगे इनको तो हमारी छाप है. Everybody loves Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And how sweet a relationship were there between Vallabhacharya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vallabhacharya invited him to his home in Adel. And instead of giving the bhog, prasad to Mahaprabhu, he gave the bhog to Mahaprabhu. Instead of offering to a deity and giving it to Mahaprabhu, he gave tum DTO. That comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It also comes in the Varta literature. So what is Mahaprabhu telling? You ready? Together we'll sing. Madhva hoite saradvaya kariba grahan, eka hoy kevalat vaita nirasan. Krishna murti nitya jani tahar sevan, sheta dvitiya sad jana mahajan. Ramanuja hoite amilai duisa, Ananya bhakati bhakta jana seva aar. Vishnu hoite dui sara kariba svikar. Tadiya avarag. Keep playing. So he's telling, I will take the best practices from Madhva Sampradaya. I will accept two critical things. First, Madhvas are gung-ho beating the Mayavad philosophy. So it is one thing to appreciate Sarvakhalvidam Brahman, that we are interested in Brahman realizes. That is fine. But Mayavad means ठाकुर जी तो ठाकुर जी हैं, छोटे मोटे हैं. नहीं, वो मोटे नहीं, मोटे हैं बहुत. So उसका निरासार करना कि ठाकुर जी, Krishna is not Maya Nirmit. He's our sarvasva. How it can be Maya Nirmit? Second, he's take from Madhva that Krishna's deity form is important. Okay, so two principles. First, don't consider Krishna to be Maya Nirmit. Second, Krishna's deity will serve. This is from Madhva Sampradaya. Second is Ramanuj Sampradaya. From Ramanuj Sampradaya, two principles. First is Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti means exclusive devotion. And second, Bhakta Seva. Just serve devotees. And it's so much there in, if you go to South India, it's very pronounced there. Then from the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, two. What? Tadiya Sarvasva Bhav. That surrender to the Lord. And second, Raga Marg. Just don't worship with rules, worship with affection. Got it? And finally, he talks about Nimbark. He is telling to Nimbark, this is the beautiful background score. What royalties that we are speaking when the Hare Krishna mantra is going on. So don't worry, after a while, we'll also increase our voice. Radhika Ashray. If you go to Nimbark temples, Nimbark Sampradaya is perhaps the oldest in Vrindavan to establish Sri Radha worship. And that's why their mantra is Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Shama. Same है ना? Radhe Shama, Shama Shama, Radhe Radhe. In one sense, it's interesting because confusion नहीं है. अपने में sometimes हरे, हरी, हरा, who. Take confusion removed, Radhe. Ram, some say Balram, Radha Raman, confusion removed, Sham. So, but they did it. So Radhika Ashray and Gopi Bhav. These are the two things which are taken. So now we have come to Bhaum Vrindavan 2.0, right? Everybody has helped establishing it. But then we enter to dark chapters of the 17th century where Aurangzeb Prabhu comes. उनको भी प्रणाम. वो भी ठाकुर जी की लीला में कुछ तो रोल निभाया होगा उन्होंने. नहीं निभाते तो भी जयपुर क्यों जाते हैं हम? So he did what he had to do. We pray for everybody, but we are सावधान now कि ऐसी चीज should not happen again. But the deities did a mass exodus. Gopinath, Damodar, Govind Dev, Madan Mohan to Karoli, correct. And one more deity, Vinodi Lal. Radha Vallabh also had to go out, but then it came back. In fact, how many of us have been to Radha Vallabh temple? If we stand behind पीछे वाला gate, not the steps वाला gate, but the gate behind, there is actually the old temple. That was the temple which was the original temple, and now there is just a seat of Harivamsa Mahaprabhu. So that used to be the old temple. And it is always the case, if you destroy the Garbhagriha of the temple, the practice is one will build the temple near it, so that the deity will be shifted from the connected Garbhagriha, because deities cannot be shifted outside. So you will see the Garbhagriha of this temple and the old Radha Vallabh is connected. It is also the case in Radha Madan Mohan. If you go up there, there is this tower, right? This is an 18th century creation. It was not the original mandir. What's the original mandir? Next to it. So जो खंडर type है, that's the original temple. It's a Jagmohan and there's a small dome. But the Garbhagriha of the dome and this tower are connected. Because whenever you defile a Garbhagriha, you have to transfer from inside. When I was writing this book, if you read, you get a time, there is a sense in which the protagonist comes in front of Madan Mohan. So when I was writing, I wrote, it's a big tower. I was thinking, doesn't make sense. That tower was not there in 16th century. The book is from 1552 to 1590 AD. When we did some research and found out, oh no, oops, this, it would be anachronistic as they say. मतलब 18th century के बाद 16th century में लिख दी. So the original temple is the one. So next time you go to Madan Mohan, you can go inside and feel it, how the original temple looked like. Aurangzeb destroyed, but did Vrindavan stop? Because then there were these Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baladev Vidya Bhushan, and in some says Baji Rao. I don't know about Mastani, but Baji Rao, because he fought, and Chhatrasal, Orcha, he was the king who was standing up. Chhatrasal, Baji Rao, Shivaji Maharaj, and the Marathas, they gave a strong push to. Then Ahilya Bai Holkar comes and builds the Varanasi temple, right? So now was the phase of Bhauma 2.0 to Bhauma 3.0. And then came flooding, saints came flooding. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then dear Srila Prabhupada, who said there should be an American house in Vrindavan. And जब हम छोटे होते थे, so in our whatever time pass or pastime, we'd go and sometimes trouble the little boys, Gurukuli boys there. And I didn't know later on I'll be joining the same rank. We would call it Angrejo Ka Mandir. And those people who bought the shops in front of Angrejo Ka temple, their relatives would tease them. Who will be your customers? Bhoot? Who will go there? Vrindavan stopped after Fogla. After Fogla is Virana. But look at the sharp insight of Srila Prabhupada. One of the Radharaman Goswamis was telling, Prabhupada knew it, so he built Vrindavan right within the Parikrama Marg. Parikrama Marg, whatever is inside, is the most sacred land, 3.5 kos perimeter. And I know many devotees who don't want to go outside the Parikrama Marg. ISKCON Raman Reti is where? Within the Parikrama Marg, right? Did he know that? Perhaps. So God created what? Bhaum Vrindavan 3.0. And after Aurangzeb, no big temples were made. They were all made in Haveli style. Just observe next time when you go to Vrindavan, try walking in the morning around 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. in the downtown. Downtown means Dusayat, which means Madan Mohan area. Just walk there. You might meet few dogs here. They won't bite. It's always a good idea to carry a stick in your hand. It won't do anything, but it will raise your confidence. And detach these spectacles and any other detachable things from your hand, but just walk. Shyam Sundar Prabhu asked Prabhupada, what should I do in Vrindavan? Prabhupada said, just wander. So just walk and see the buildings on the top of the Rabdi Walas and Kachodi Walas and Bidai Walas. It's a beautiful architecture. And indeed, every home is a temple. So मजाक नहीं है, वृंदावन still has magic. Because पर्दे के पीछे बहुत कुछ चीजें हो रही हैं. कृष्ण अभी भी खेल रहे हैं और भौम वृंदावन तो अभी भी है. If we are pure, we might hear. Okay? We might hear, we might feel something. And then beyond aprakat, beyond prakat, beyond, third is what? Drishyama, beyond Bhaum 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, we might carry that Vrindavan in our heart, which is called Hridayastha Vrindavan. That's our fourth category or fifth category. Fifth. And if the Hridayastha Vrindavan is very strong, that particular personality might go and create that Vrindavan. Where? In Hungary, Navavraj Dham, in Virginia, New Vrindavan, in Jaipur, Kanaka Vrindavan, in Ramkeli. One story which we dramatized here is the stealing of the books. Bir Hambir, Van Vishnupur, that is also Vrindavan. Or it could be Gita Nagari. Or why to go far? What about this dump yard? Isn't that used to be a dump yard, right? And why to go far? What about the place where we all be going on 7th December, right? So Hridayastha Vrindavan then springs out of the heart and becomes the sixth category called Nava Vrindavan. It's a new Vrindavan. And by the way, you can also pat all of your backs because you all have also created that in your homes, isn't it? Your altar too is Nav Vrindavan. चाहे उसमें चित्रपट हो, the deity हो, कुछ भी हो. Isn't that Vrindavan? Have we done it? No, our gurus have done it through us. We are just Katputli. They can do massive scale, but if we are surrendered, they can do in a small scale. So, Prakat, Drishyaman, Bhaum 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, Hridayastha comes out as one is left with which we lend. This Vrindavan. It's called Sadhu Sang Vrindavan. That's also Vrindavan, right? Yatra gayanti mat bhakta tatra tisthami narada. So maybe he's sitting. There is a small picture which is circulated here and there. Surdas ji singing and Thakur ji singing. You seen that? Well, I don't know. Maybe he's around. Tare zami par. He may be around. It is good to have that Shraddha, faith. Faith is the most important thing. And then, not only then Vrindavan will go out, but if we cultivate that feeling, then maybe Vrindavan will call us from far away places back to the same Bhaum Vrindavan. from places which we haven't expected. One saint was there in Sindh, Pakistan, and Radharani came to the dream and said, "Come to Vrindavan," and he came and settled in the Sayat. His name was Kokil Swami. Another saint was in Guntur. This is, we are talking about 20th century. He was in Guntur, district officer. And Guntur, which language they speak? Chala Baundi. ठीक बोला? Very good. So, if you have to go to a place like Dallas where there are only Telugu people, you have to learn few words. So, Guntur, that person, a district officer, I think he would chant Durga mantra. But please understand the Adhishthatri. Now, we are just reaching the climax. So, Adhishthatri Devta of Gopal mantra, which we get in our Diksha, is Durga. And no wonder in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Kamakhya Devi pushes Gopakumar towards Vrindavan. So this Durga Devi came, gave the mantra, he chanted, and Radharani appeared and said, "Baba, what are you doing in South? Come to..." So he came with this parikar to Vrindavan, lived for until 102 years of age. His servant, a young girl, she was 15 years of age. She dropped everything, came to serve his guru. She is today 72 years of age. She is alive. And sometimes we meet her. And their ashram is called, it's very near Gopeshwar Mahadev, it's called Andhra Ashram. And the moment you enter inside, there's a Radharani deity, but Chakra Pongal, what all is there? Puliogare, all the chutney, and Chala Baundi, all the language like that. And one fine day we went and we were singing our bhajans, and then they were singing Telugu bhajans. Thinking, what? Vrindavan can call people from so far lands. Not only that, he called somebody from England. He was a fighter plane pilot. He got saved. He started thinking, I should go to India to study philosophy. Lo and behold, he became a teacher in Lucknow University. The person who was the vice chancellor who engaged him, his role was over. Now the role came of his wife, Monica. And he figured out this Monica is an interesting weirdo. She comes to the parties and acts like a party girl, but then she disappears. Then she comes, then disappears. Chal kya raha hai? She goes and peeps inside and she is into meditation, chanting. He asks her, "Who are you?" Already they had now son and mom relationship. He was called Gopal, but his name was Richard Nixon. So Monica told, "Well, we explored all different philosophies, got beating from everywhere, finally went to Vrindavan and got initiated in Gaudiya, Radha Raman Sampradaya." After a while, Richard Nixon comes and says, "I want to take sannyas." Monica said, take it. I said, "No, from you." "Me? I'm a woman." So he said nothing to him. So she takes sannyas and then he takes sannyas from her. She becomes Yashoda Ma, he becomes Krishna Prem. First Western Gaudiya in Vrindavan, 1930s. And now they went up to Almora. Look at Britishers. They would have thought Almora is their outhouse, right? Winter home. They established a Vrindavan there. It's still there in a place called Mirtol, 10 miles or 10 kilometers from Almora. And it's called Uttar Vrindavan, the Vrindavan of the north. What's going on? So Vrindavan is just not place. Rupa Goswami says in Laghu Bhagavatamrit, Krishna, Krishna ke priya bhakt, Krishna ke dham, avichintya tattva. They are inconceivable. They can appear right here. They can invite you. Just that we can be ready. Are you with me so far? I'll take 2 more minutes. But now we can pause, and next time you go there or now here, you can imagine the skyline of Vrindavan. Like when you come here, you see the skyline, right? Chandak building. I was observing from your window today. There's a building, right? And different buildings. That's the skyline of Vrindavan, Mumbai. But Vrindavan is a different skyline, right? Now we can observe that skyline and think, oh, there is one common uniting thread there. They all came from wherever, right? From here they are coming. There is one common thread there. Can you guess what's that thread? What's the word we speak when we go to Vrindavan instead of honking or hello? What's the thread? It's Sri Radharani. In all sampradayas, that is the thread. So it is befitting that we end our discussion of this 2-day seminar with a beautiful song written by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And the tune is like Guru Puja. So we can sing together softly. Radhika Charana Padma Shakala Shreyera Sadma Jatane Je Nahi Ara Dilo Radha Padmankita Dhama Brindavan Jara Nama Taha Je Na Ashray Korilo Radhika Bhava Gambhir Chitta Jeba Mahadhi Gana Sange Na Koilo Jeevane. Keep playing. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is saying, if these three things have not happened, first thing, Radhika Charana Padma, jo ki shaka ho. Shakal means not the shakal. In Bengali, shakal means all. Shreya. Shreya means long-term benefit. For all the long-term benefit, it is sadma, not Hindi ka sadma. Sadma means home. Jatane je nahi aradhilo. If somebody has not worshipped them, first condition. Second condition, Radha Padmankita Dham. This is that place. Vrindavan. If some Vrindavan jar naam and it is called Vrindavan, tahe je na ashray korilo. If one has not taken ashray Vrindavan in mind, in our temples at home, second condition. What's the third condition? Radhika Bhava Gambhir. Chitte Jeba Mahadir, whose hearts are throbbing for Sri Radha. Lekin Gambhir, not time pass. Gravely, but in a Gambhir way. And if you have not taken their association. Got the three conditions? In fact, this is the translation of a verse. Maybe we'll meet after 6 months, so I'll take few more minutes extra. Is that okay? There was a Pandit in South India, in Telang Brahman, and he wrote a Braj song. Sakhi ho Shyam Rang Rangi. Pura Manjari Bhav, Radhika Bhav ka song. And this song reached the ears of Jiva Goswami. And Jiva Goswami sent him a letter with one verse. Exactly this. What was Jiva Goswami saying? Anaradhya Radha. If you haven't worshipped the lotus feet of Radharani, if you haven't taken shelter of Vrindavan Dham, if you haven't talked with those who have the aspirations to be servant of the servant of the servant of Srimati Radharani, then what will happen? What Jiva Goswami said is translated by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Kemone Shamananda Rasa Sindhu Snanananda Labhive Bujhoha Ek Mane. What he's telling? how will you get Krishna? Kemone she Shamananda. You won't get the Anand of Krishna. And Rasa Sindhu Snanananda. You cannot. That's what Srila Prabhupada also said, right? Our approach is through Guru, 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 then Rupamanji, Lalita, then finally Radha, and then she recommends, Prabhupada said, that he is a devotee. राधिका उज्ज्वल रसेर आचार्य राधा माधव शुद्ध प्रेम विचार्य जे धरिलो राधा पद्मा परम जतने शे पाइलो कृष्ण पद अमूल्य रतने. And therefore, isn't it surprisingly that all the deities, when we call them, what do we say? Radha Gopinath, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Raman, ityadi. And what do we greet each other by? Hare Krishna. And which is the majority word in the Mahamantra? Hare. Sarkar unki hai. राधा पद वीना कभू कृष्णा नहीं मिले राधा दासीर कृष्णा सर्वा वेद भोले. Clear? Now Bhaktivinoda Thakur is indicating his aspiration of the heart, and we can take that with us. छोड़त धन जन कलत्र सुतमित छोड़त कर्म ज्ञान राधा पद पंकज मधुरत सेवन भक्ति विनोद परमाण. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. We went 10 minutes over time, but we still have 5 minutes left for questions. But I am happy to take it more. I don't know when Simhachalam Prabhu will come. And anybody, any comments, reflections, suggestions, thoughts? Maybe. We can take, then I'll come. Yes. Mic, this is the mic. Okay, I'll repeat the question. अब बाहर से देखो कोई माइक रोटेस माइक है. Yes, सत्य सेविका मा. Yeah. That's an Nimbar Sampradaya, that's correct. Like that. When we sing about Radhe also, we sang a song, Jai Radhe Jaya Krishna. Every day we sing, Jai Radha Gopinath. The naam do we take? That is what Gurus ne hame paros diya. See, we can chant so many glories and bring out this scripture, say that scripture, that Hare Krishna is the glorious Hare Naam Eva Kevalam. But अंततः जो परोस दिया है गुरु ने हम वो लेंगे. So उनके गुरु ने परोसा है, they have served them Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna Radhe. So they chant that. We are Gurus Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, we were speaking that mantras have to be passed in sampradayas. Like that, Naam also must come in sampradaya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he has imbued his potency in the Hare Krishna mantra, and then when we take it, it is especially powerful. So for us, we may not be chanting Radhe Krishna, but we are chanting Hare Krishna. There is a special advantage for us, our sampradaya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has imbued his potency. Secondly, our gurus have ordered it. Okay? Does that make sense? For some other sampradaya others, they're like for Ramanandi, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Yeah? Or in Pushti, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Jisko Guru ne jo paros diya. Does that make sense? Thank you. More thoughts, comments? Yes.
It's it not is more form like Sampradaya.
Yes.
Could you give any comment about any order Sampradayas in
Any order? Other.
orders of saints, so like Franciscan order or other saints in other religions?
No, we spoke about it, right? Radha? We spoke about all these four sampradayas. Sampradaya is an order. Sampradaya is an order only, right?
So I was about those who didn't exclusively take shelter in Vrindavan or in Sanatan Indian.
Oh, like that. Well, there can be so. I mean, just think about it. Lord can just come and take a person back home, back to Godhead, right? He is Swachhand. So, Lord, see, this is the fuzzy logic we have to put in our head. What is the fuzzy logic? That Krishna creates a system, because then it just helps in a whole scale way also, and it's a tried and tested way. But then still he cannot be bound. We are chanting Hare Krishna without aprad, everything is okay. Still, who has to open the door? Krishna, right? We cannot say, we have discussed, right? I did DYS, JOSD, Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, everything done. Ab to main ja hi raha hu. No. Still the final thing rests in whose hands? Krishna. Is that right? So, from this we can conclude that what was the sampradaya? We do not hear about sampradaya of that Vipra, right? Who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met and he was reading Bhagavad Gita upside down. Do we hear that he was in any sampradaya? No, right? But surely he was going back on back to Godhead. Correct? Do you agree? How many? Many. We don't hear any. I have not heard sampradaya of Chandidas.